Top 5 antacid moments of week 2. This had a lot. Wait till we get to the first one. Number 5. These are moments where fans of probably the losing squad had to take a little antacid. Kentucky's pick 6, I think, had to be one of those, oh, God, this is how it's going to be. Anthony Richardson, and I kind of bought into watching him play really, really well against Utah. Kentucky coming back. I sold him a little short. And he is a guy who is very much an adventure, where he's unbelievable athletic talent, but he's still very green. And when it came to it, he looked really green, especially in the second half of that Kentucky game the other night. And that pick 6 was not one that anyone should have ever thrown.
He got away with a lot in week 1.
Yeah.
That we just passed off as like incredible feats of play. And like, how, not everybody, who can do that? Like, and yet it was one of those where if it goes the other way, then it's disastrously bad kind of a situation. Yeah. And I think that's what you saw. All the stuff that went right went wrong in week number 2. And so, yeah, a lot of the shine came off. There were Vince Young comparisons after week 1, and people just going nuts over him.
That was me, yeah.
And,
that's okay.
And, he's very talented. He's got a lot of, incredible ability. But, yeah, there are some parts of the game that aren't quite there yet that need to get better. And you saw that in full effect. And, look, I said in regards to this game, like, I was all on board the Florida momentum. And not that I didn't give Kentucky a chance, but, it's not like Kentucky was just a foregone conclusion either, just simply because they don't win this game all that often. And now they've won it a couple times in a row, and that's a major freaking deal, man.
It's the first time they've beaten Florida 2 years in a row since 1976 and 1977, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and that's where I was coming from, was like, hey, Florida's got this big win. Like, they got a quarterback now. Like, they got some swagger about them. And I just thought, like, okay, here we go with the Gators. But, hey, I doubted Stoops and company too much. And yeah, they were able to make a little history. Good for them.
And they also got down early. They were down, and they didn't panic, and they didn't overreact. They just went and did their deal and eventually won the game.
Yeah. Number 4, the fourth quarter of Wisconsin and Wazoo. If you're a Wisconsin fan, you go to the fourth quarter, look at 17-14. You're used to these games in Wisconsin. They play a lot of rock fights. You're like, it'll be fine. One score. And then nobody kicked a field goal, scored a touchdown, a safety, a drop kick, nothing. Nothing happened in that fourth quarter. And if I was a Wisconsin fan, I would have been just straight popping. Prilosec.
Prilosec. Okay.
Oh, God.
Off-brand?
Oh, God.
How do you say that long word that is?
Omeprazole.
Yeah.
Omeprazole, yes.
Yeah, no, that was a huge win for Wazoo. Did not see that one coming by any stretch of the imagination, especially not on the, at Camp Randall. That was, I think, the craziest part was that they did that on the road. But, yeah, just a massive win. And I don't know. Wisconsin's just so steady always. And, yeah, they're never perfect. But this is not a game that I think many people had circled as one that they were going to fall in. And so to see that was pretty shocking on Saturday. Yeah.
Number 3, Stephen Gilmore's pick 6 for Marshall. I would think that was when many people in South Bend said, I think I got to go to the bathroom. I just need a minute. This is not going well. And those games are the ones where, if you're Notre Dame, you're playing Marshall, you think like, okay, this is good, but our team has the athletes to make a couple plays, get out of this, go, woo, man, those guys really played hard. Thanks for coming in, Marshall. But this was a moment where you could tell in the game where it popped the whole bubble. And that was it. They weren't coming back from this. They were down 2 scores at this point, and to get 1 score takes Notre Dame a long time this year based on that offense. So getting 2 in the fourth quarter just wasn't going to happen.
I need to admit something about this game. I saw the score, and I said, that's cute. I did. And, of course, I should have been, I don't know which ended first, a time, kickoff, whatever, Appalachian State, because Georgia Southern was later. And I was like, that's cute. The Notre Dame will find a way to win the game. And then I saw the score as final. So I said, oh, my God, did Marshall score at the very end? They were up 2 touchdowns. Yeah. It's not like this was like some kind of a miraculous thing. They were up 2 scores, and Notre Dame scored last to cut it to 6 points.
Yeah. This one may have been more Advil than antacid or both, but the non-safety call in Texas versus Bama, that one, because you're already excited, you're already pumped up, but this might have been one of the first times in the history of the University of Texas where the brand they were playing outshone them.
Oh, my God.
It's true.
You might be right, yeah.
And they outshone them. So even the referees from your own conference were like, well, it's Bama. I'm sure we got it right, when nothing about that call was right. It wasn't roughing the passer. It wasn't unnecessary roughness. It wasn't, I mean, all of it was wrong.
Targeting,
all that stuff, whatever.
And because they called that, they could not even discuss the safety, right? They can't even intentional grounded is apparently not even is something where you cannot review that.
Yeah. So yeah, they just messed it up. So I think this was Texas seeing how the other half lives, because again, it's Alabama, and part of it is things go your way when you're great, and Alabama's been great, not just good for a long time. So things go your way, and this is what happened to Alabama in that particular call.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that calls like this happen. I mean, I think that you should hope that the referees are, there's going to be certain judgment calls they don't get, but like this is pretty clear. Like that's a pretty egregious error, in hindsight, especially given how close that game was. But yeah, it's crazy to kind of. I know Texas taking their lumps before officiating wise, and that's always been to their benefit. But yeah, that's definitely one that you have every right to be salty about after Saturday.
Yeah, and number one, the entire game. Texas A&M versus App State. I watched all of it, pretty much all of it. And from the beginning, Texas A&M was totally checked out and did not really, I don't think they really got until they missed that field goal at the end that App State came to play. That they really did. It just seemed to me like they were, all right, and if you're, I watched Twitter during that game and just Aggie fans going nuclear about many different things. Jimbo in his play calling, not taking chances. Why don't you just let Max Johnson play for a minute? Just for a minute, just to see how it feels. And then that's it. But none of that happened.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that App State played well. I was surprised by the rest of it. I mean, to be that ill-equipped and ill-prepared, it seemed like on the A&M side of things, you chalk that up to and you lay that at Jimbo's feet, but I just don't know how you allow that to happen. And maybe it's the money that you just feel so comfortable that we'll roll over App State and your recruiting rankings and all of that. But I don't know. The Michigan game was how many years ago, and people are still talking about that game and that finish and App State for that very reason. So maybe, just maybe, be on high alert no matter how many 5-stars you landed over the last couple of classes, because, they play football too. And they definitely had more heart and more of a chip on their shoulders and more of a just everything that you wanted than the home team did. And that's why the Mountaineers walked away with a massive, massive win that they can go put next to that Michigan win and a lot of others they've compiled over the years.
Yeah, quick $5 super chat as we go.